Hey guys, in Psalm 46:10, it says, "Cease striving, relax and let go, and know that I am God. Know that I am that I am. I will be exalted among the Gentiles, I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our stronghold." Selah. Um, to hate him is to hate your true self. To ignore him is to ignore who you really are. Um, he has made God and humanity inseparable. You cannot separate these things, just like it's pretty darn hard to separate spirit and mind when you really get down to it. Although they're two separate substances, they've been mingled together forever. Um, because there's an eternal quality about them, I mean, because the Trinity obviously wasn't ever created, and there's obviously Father, Son, and Spirit both have mind. But Jesus says one thing. He who wants to worship God, doesn't matter where you're at. It's just must worship in spirit and truth. Uh, and he speaks of spirit as having a mind, but and also, well, besides that, he says that God is spirit, and you must worship in spirit and truth. So if he was referencing the Father is spirit, but Holy Spirit is the spirit of the Father. Um, well, that means Holy Spirit is the spirit of a spirit. So how do you even begin to make sense of that one? Like, that's just a wild idea. Then on top of that, the Spirit of Jesus. I mean, on top of that, it says that the Holy Spirit was the one who hovered over uh, the Virgin Mary. So then that technically would make the Holy Spirit the Father. Although, I mean, like, when you really get down to the characteristics, I mean, they are separate in the sense of personality, but it's just like some of these areas they overlap, like the Spirit of Jesus. Like, was that literally the Holy Spirit? Was that spirit within the body of the man Jesus Christ? Was that a Spirit of Jesus Christ? But it says that the Spirit of Jesus Christ is a liberty, and is the Holy Spirit in other passages. So it's like these characteristics overlap, and to fully dissect them, I mean, Trinitarian theology is absolutely important and can definitely flush out and detox a lot of crappy religion. But it's still a paradox, still a mystery. There's still like some inseparability between the three. The Trinity is a great mystery, but I just really like this whole idea of cease striving and know that I am God. Know I am that I am, because you will know who you are when you know I am. Uh, this isn't redundant or semantics, but it's a pretty wild thing. He says, "I will be exalted among the nations," and a lot of the nations, they still hate Jesus, but at the same time, I mean, there's probably more Gentile Christians than Jewish Christians right now. So this definitely has come true, and hopefully it just becomes more true as time goes on. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Man, it's like really important to understand for your own personal joy and peace and patience that the Lord of hosts is with you. The Lord of the heavens is with you, and he always will be with you. And the God of Jacob is your stronghold. And so you can just hide within the shadow of the Almighty. That's another thing that I wanted to mention earlier. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For it is he who delivers you from the snare of the trapper and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you may seek his refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and bulwark. I would have to say that this is definitely a great example of love mysticism, of what that is and what that looks like, and also a byproduct of it. Of love mysticism is just practicing his presence, the presence of God, just finding yourself in the sweet substance and joy of heaven and staying there. And yeah,